essentially what I can say is that the opposition has always got the advantage. Has always got the advantage of highlighting all the issues, all the policies, all the gaps, without having to directly account yet, because you're not government. The disadvantage that you have is that you don't have a track record. Perhaps with the exception of Workers' Party. You don't have a track record. So it's very difficult, and Chamsitong, yeah. It's very difficult for people to judge you by what you profess that you can do, right? So it's a negative in that sense, you know. So people aren't sure whether they can go with what you're saying. With the ruling party, the advantage is that you've got a track record, you're familiar, people know who you are, you're in the news on a regular basis, okay? Sometimes that may not be an advantage, okay? But at the end of the day, the disadvantage of being the ruling party is that election is where you have to account for a whole lot more, right? I mean, it is a disadvantage, which actually is the opposition's advantage. So I think, I mean, for me, if you ask me, what is it that voters should look for, we should strike a balance between these two and be realistic about it. So
it's not wrong to be accountable. It's the very essence of democracy.
No. What I'm saying
is... You have to be
is,
accountable.
No, you've had your say.
Right through.
Now it's my say.
5-year report card.
No, but what I'm saying is, it is hard because people are going to ask you a whole lot of questions. You've come up with policies and you've got to defend those. It's not easy, right? So for me, what I'm looking for is an individual who is looking for both the ability to think and defend and persuade, and very importantly, the compassion, and more than anything else, the ability and the willingness to listen. Now, I think there is a serious deficit among a lot of the candidates that I'm seeing, PAP as well as the opposition, in not having the capacity to listen. And listen with an open mind, right? Now, I'm hoping that debates of this nature, open, free-flowing, would actually be the order of the day in the years to come. Not just during election, but in the cause of things. Because people get to see a lot more. It is about the dynamics of communication. Today, I am sure the audience here, us, as well as people watching from home, would be able to see a lot more of the unspoken telling the truth. A lot more will come through in the way we react through our expressions when someone else speaks. Those things matter more. And it can only surface when you have spontaneous discussions. And I'd like to end with an appeal. There will always be contrary views, but it does not have to become adversarial.
Yes, that's right.
There will always be, and there should be, a contest of ideas.
Definitely.
But let's not lose the capacity for decency and not go into gutter politics. Whoever fires the first salvo should be ashamed. I would put it that way. Let's stand by a certain code of ethics and be gentlemanly in the way we conduct ourselves in the days to come in the hustings. And I think all Singaporeans expect that of all parties and all candidates. With that, I'd like you to join me in thanking our panel, right? Minister Shanmugam. And I must say, I'm very grateful to the PAP for actually having a senior minister in cabinet join us in this discussion, because it shows a commitment through transparency and being accountable. And I really appreciate this, right? Benjamin Pui, Secretary General of the DPP and a candidate in this election for the SPP.
Yes.
Professor Paul Tambaya, who is representing here the SDP. And last but certainly not least, my good friend Eugene Tan, who is today even more familiar on TV than the anchors. Well, I'd like to wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
And may the best man or woman win.